What's up, friends? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. I gotta go feed the cat. Hold on. Here's a little bit more flying. This was my birthday. I went out and flew this year. Here's the battery right after the one you guys were just watching. Hold on. Let me just get this cat fed. I just walked in the door. So here, hold on. Hold on. I'm just gonna give you beautiful session 5 audio. Can't be beat. Alright, hold on. I'll be right back. that warning message sitting up there? Hopefully not the whole time. What's up, people? Glad to be back. Crazy couple of days, but good couple of days. This is... what's today? Sunday? This is Cinewhoop Sunday, even though that's not the name of the stream. Sunday Q&A, FPV Cycle, Cinesplore, not Cineblore, rebuild continues. We're gonna put the ESC in here. So I've moved this to a TBS 5-volt Unify, and the ESC that I'm putting into it doesn't have 5-volt out. I don't want the... I'm putting a Talon F7 flight controller into it. And the most common failure that I've had on these Talon flight controllers is the 5-volt back. So I don't want the Unify pulling on the 5-volt back of the flight controller. So I'm going to put a little external 5-volt BEC in. I found a great little spot for it. So yeah, you guys are going to get to see me do that, which is a good thing to kind of get to see, because if you have a flight controller where the 5-volt back blows up, you can do this and bring it back to life. Your voltage sensing, it's going to be a little bit of a pain in the ass for you to get voltage sensing and current sensing. If your ESC is a 32-bit ESC with telemetry, you can pull the current sensing out of the telemetry, and then for your voltage sensing, you can turn that on your FPV camera. You're not going to get individual cell voltage, you're going to get full battery voltage, but you can get almost everything back again. The 5-volt BECs blowing up on the flight controllers is really not just with the Talons, just in general. That's the most common failure that I've seen over the last 5-ish years with flight controllers. So yeah, this will be kind of cool. I'm also going to show you guys how to share grounds between the VTX and the camera. It's easy to do that when you're powering the VTX off of the flight controller, because the ground pads between that VTX power out and the camera power out are usually pretty close, and you just jump it across. This situation is going to be a little bit different because I'm using this 5-volt external BEC. So I got to give it a little bit of thought as to where the shared ground is going to be. I think it's going to be up on the flight controller. I think I'm going to use the camera ground pad. But yeah, and then I just won't have a ground pad. I won't have a ground wire coming off of the 5-volt BEC. Is that going to work? Kitten, I just gave you food. What else do you want from me? Love? You ain't gonna get that. Yeah, is that gonna work? 5-volt to the BEC. 5-volt out. 5-volt into the VTX. The VTX ground is gonna come out and go to the flight controller. That ground is then connected down to the ESC. Yeah, I guess that'll work, right? So I've got to go... I have to have positive and negative going from the ESC to the BEC to get the BEC to work. And then I can just not have a ground wire on the output of the 5-volt BEC. That feels wrong. That feels wrong. But it's basically what's happening... Why does that feel so wrong? Chat, help me out. That's gonna work, right? I just only run the 5-volt line out of the external 5-volt BEC. God, that feels weird. Is that gonna work? What's up, chat? Imp FPV was first, Kevin Sumner was next, Apache Smoke Wounded Sniper, Gary Higgins, Dark Man, JT Custom Knives, CMYK FPV, a kitten down by my feet, Gary Higgins again, Xanakis FPV is here, what's up Nevin, how are you man? June Loco, Alley-Oop, Chomper FPV, Kaiser Soze, FPV Trucker, Freelojo, Akasha Jana, Flush FPV, Brandon's Baked Beans, Pixel Pusher. I'm going to leave it there. If you want the gangly man to read your name, you got to get in early, you got to say something. If you want to talk directly to me, all you've got to do is type my name. It's CiottiFPV. You got to spell it correctly. Don't put a space in between the Ciotti and the FPV. If you do it correctly, it'll show up in orange like this, and I'll know that you're talking to me. The other option is to do a super chat. Speaking of super chats, well, here. Let me show you guys my Instagram. If you're not friends with me on Instagram, what the fuck are you doing? Oops, an error occurred. Great. Okay. That's weird. Let's try this a different way. There it is. I'm gonna sneeze. Kitten, this shit needs to end, buddy. Woo. I've got a working car again. It's not the Miata, but it's the Mazda 2. You may have noticed there's no front lip. The front lip ripped off of it a couple weeks ago while Kristen was driving it, while my ex was driving it. There's no rear lip either. That ripped off of it a couple weeks before that. So, car's a little rough right now, but we're gonna get it back. We're gonna get it back into a good place, and yeah, very very happy. You know, you guys are the best, and yeah. So let's get this swapped over to the M1 Mac Mini Fund. I think they're $900 and something, but we're just gonna round it off to 1,000, and there we go. There it be, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move that over a little bit. Too far. Oh, wrong way. That looks good, right? Nope, it's too big. Let's make it a little smaller. Oh, fuck. What just happened? Oh, there we go. Oh, there it is. There it is. Was I getting it? Is that it? Wait. Yeah. You guys are the best. I love every single one of you sons of bitches. CMYK FPV tagged me and said, Happy Sunday Collective. This is my full-time job. If you'd like to see more live streams like this one, I need everybody's help. Head on over to CiottiFPV.com, click a bunch of buttons. There's a bunch of affiliate links. If you're doing any orders on those websites and you remember to hit my affiliate link, I get free money. There's a Fiverr page, bunch of good stuff going on over there, an Etsy page, bunch of good stuff. Click a bunch of buttons, help your boy continue to do this full-time, and yeah, you'll have lots more live streams to enjoy and get some good information from and poop your pants. Over on Instagram, I also posted some, wait, no, it wasn't this one, some glamour shots of the ultra meme lord clickbaity Ripsqueak V2. So go check that out as well on Instagram. Or don't. Do whatever you want. Did this not post on Facebook? Why? Why is this happening? Nah, we're good. Okay. Alley-Oop tagged me and said, what's up, everybody? FPV Trucker said, happy Sunday. Freelojo says, afternoon, CiottiFPV and Collective. Imp FPV says, saw the Flow State movie yesterday. You should have used another haircut. Yeah, my hair looked ridiculous, but whatever. Can't go back in time. Family Guyver says, what up, collective? CiottiFPV says, what's up, guys? Dan636 says, remember that T-motor stack we talked about? Possible bad gyro. Took all the components off the micro reverb, put it in the micro apex, flies like a dream. X-Nova 1804 3500 is a low-end beast. So what it looks like Dan636 was running into is that when he had the flight controller in the micro reverb frame, it certainly sounds like that frame had a resonant frequency that was causing weird flight issues that were similar to a bad gyro. And then when he put that setup into a micro apex, which is a much more stout frame, the micro apex it's much heavier than the micro reverb, much heavier, which is why it's much more stout. Now it flies like a dream, so that's pretty cool. If you've got a micro reverb build and it doesn't fly perfectly, maybe the frame is the issue. Is basically what we've learned here. Thanks for that feedback, Dan636. That's really good to know. Gary Higgins says, nice flying. Thanks, brother. Zanaka says, whoa, inverted hang time in that clip. Nice. Yeah, that was a fun day of flying. I was in it, which was really nice. Ed K says, hello, good afternoon all. ImpFPV says, did this gel actually bring something that you used last Sunday on that Rip Squeak with vibrations? Not really. The Nio gel only makes a little bit of a difference. The problems that I was having with the Rip Squeak were, I don't know. The Rip Squeaks are going to get pulled apart this week. One of them needs a new ESC, which might be the problem that I'm having with it. The other one, I forget what the problem is on the other one. So I've got, I don't remember what I did on and off stream, to be honest with you guys. So I took this Rip Squeak here with the 3.2 millimeter arms, and I put these X-Nova 1804s on it, and I forgot that the ESC, the SpeedX GS25 ESC that I have in here, which is an old ESC that's been since discontinued, I'd forgotten that this ESC was starting to kind of flake out on me. With these big old motors, it's really shit the bed. The right rear ESC channel, when I pour on the throttle and leave it for more than like a split second, the right rear motor drops out. The ESC recovers, which is pretty impressive before it hits the ground usually, but yeah, this with these 1804s needs a new ESC. What I can tell you is that it flies amazing. These my God, these X-Nova 1804 3500s are special. They're a very, very special motor. They're not coggy at all. They're nice and smooth. They make great power. They're really a dream. I was flying it a little bit on these Gemfan 3052s. Just to put, it's a big ass motor for a 3-inch prop, so I wanted to put a big ass propeller on it. It's something else, man. This even without being able to really hammer on it, I had to kind of limp it around a little bit to have the ESC not shit the bed all the way. It flies great. The throttle resolution is incredible. The cruising throttle is like right at 30%. Which is pretty much exactly what all of our 5-inch freestyle rigs cruise at. So it really has, it really works for like your muscle memory if you fly 5-inch freestyle rigs. Even if you don't, like these motors are just phenomenal. They're more of a 3.5-inch motor. I think that, well, we'll see. I've got some of the T-Motor 3140 props coming, which are brilliant. And these motors are great with those props. I still think these motors are a bit too much for those propellers, but here's the thing. Those props are M5 mount only, and we don't really have a great selection of motors that are M5 mount for a 3-inch prop. It's kind of these. So if you want to, if you really want to build a 3-inch basher, I think these are the motors to do it with. I think it's these motors, the T-Motor 3140 props, and whatever the hell frame you want. I mean, you could do that on a, like Dan636 did, you could do that on a Micro Apex frame. The frame is going to be a little bit heavier than you really need. Let's say this. If you're going to do an analog build, an analog basher build, I actually think that the Ripsqueak Micro might be the right frame for that, with the 3.2 millimeter thick arms. If you need to do DJI, then I think maybe the Apex, the Micro Apex might be the move, because it's got double 20x20 stacks, stack mounting. So yeah, man, pretty cool stuff. I'm pretty shocked at how well this flew, but the funny thing is, I then flew, back to back with that, I flew the lighter weight Ripsqueak on the 1504s, the iFlight 1504s, with these Dow 3028 props, and this is outrageous. Like, these Zing 1504 motors are something special, man. Definitely quieter, much lighter weight. Let's actually take a quick look at the weight between these two guys. I use the same batteries on both of these, 4S 850s. These Zing 1504 motors being powered by a 4S 850 is brilliant. I mean, you can just hammer the throttle all day long and that battery is just good to go. These 1804s hit that battery noticeably harder. 140 for the 1504 build, 162, call it 163, 162.9, 163 for the 1804 build. So a definite, 20 plus increase in weight, 20 plus gram increase in weight, but these Xnova 1804s are going to be way more durable than these Zing 1504s, mainly because these Zing 1504s, just like all of the other micro motors, only have a 2 millimeter thick motor shaft below the bell where it counts, whereas these Xnova 1804s have a 3 millimeter motor bell below the 3 millimeter motor shafts below the bell. So yeah, these are definitely way more of a basher motor. I have pounded the balls out of these Xnova 1804s over the last year plus, and they just don't care. Like, they just keep producing jello-free HD footage, and I don't know, it's kind of insane how stout they are. So yeah, the Ripsqueaks are coming along. They're getting closer to kind of being perfect. I just need to do a couple little silly things. There was one of them needed the new ESC, and that's definitely that one. There's a problem with another one though. Shit, there's a problem with one of these two. What the hell was it? I think this one's good to go now. I think the one in the 1504s is completely good to go. I think this one that's on the 1306s has an issue. I'll have to plug it. I'm going to leave this one out. I'll have to plug it in and see what's what. But yeah, the Ripsqueaks are coming along, and that's super exciting. So, but yeah, ImpFPV, the Nio makes a little bit of a difference, but it's not gonna typically it's not gonna be the difference between a rig that's doing twitching and jittering and bullshit like that. It's typically not gonna make enough of a difference to fix that. It's more yeah, it's just more subtle. So here's the thing. It's easy to do, it's cheap to do, and there's kind of no reason to do it. So using it as a troubleshooting thing doesn't really make any sense. but just doing it for the sake of doing it makes a lot of sense. So yeah. Freelojo says it had just popped up. Akasha Jana says need some tips for safely flying over snow. The ground is lava is going to be the best thing. You're going to need like at least an ND16 on your GoPro, if not an ND32. The snow is going to be very bright. So yeah, get an ND filter, get as aggressive of an ND filter as you can. And yeah, just pretend the floor is lava. I mean, they'll survive if you put them into the snow, but they're hard to find because they kind of like sink into the snow. And like for me, I'm not conformal coated. Basically, if I crash into the snow, that rig is done. Like that rig has to go on top of a fan to dry out for overnight. So yeah, just don't crash. I mean, it's, you know, just don't crash. Ugh! But yeah, if you do crash, get the battery unplugged as quick as possible and just get it in front of a fan for a few hours and it'll dry out. Do not just like put it under a fan for 5 minutes and plug the battery back in. That's how you blow it up. I just farted and it stinks. Gamma Gonad says Talon 5-volt regulator with poop, burned out at least 5 of them. Yeah, I've had a couple let go on me. At least 2, probably 3. Gary Higgins says the Mazda 2 fund is over. What's next? ImpFPV says that's the way Shutterbug explained it. YouTube just did the thing. Scrolling back up. Kaiser Soze with a $4.20 super chat. The weed number. Thank you, Kaiser. Much appreciated, my man. Freelojo says he does too. CiottiFPV, but he may smell the car smells. What's that mean? He does too, but he may smell the car smells. Zanaka says you'll definitely need a ground for a voltage regulator. So the voltage regulator, the external 5-volt reg, input, it'll be grounded. But then it's, I don't know. Apone says the ground should be common throughout the circuit, so only using the positive out should be absolutely fine. I know, right? It just feels so weird. It just feels so fucking weird, right? So like let me think about this, right? So the 5-volt VBAT, the VBAT and the ground is gonna power the 5-volt regulator up. And then the 5-volt out is going to go to the VTX. The VTX is then going to have its ground come up to the flight controller. The flight controller is grounded down to the ESC, and then the ESC is grounded to the 5-volt regulator. So there is that loop, right? So it's fine. That loop is where the 5-volt regulator doesn't need the output ground. Right? I mean, I guess I could just take the 5-volt regulator output ground and just throw it onto a ground pad on the flight controller. But I don't think I need to. Right? It feels weird to have that, like, it feels like the circuit is broken because I don't have the ground going out. You know what I'm saying? Am I losing my mind? I don't know electricity very well. Never have. Never will. Dave Pencilgwin says, turn that $0 into a $5 PayPal. Thank you very much, Dave. Updating the gear fund. 0 has become 5. Dave did a PayPal so that Google and YouTube didn't take 30%. Super chats are great, but if you go to CiottiFPV.com, scroll down to the bottom, there's a PayPal button. You can PayPal me directly and do exactly what Dave did here. Tag me and say, hey, I just sent you so-and-so dollars on PayPal. And yeah, you won't be giving YouTube 30% of your hard-earned money. You can absolutely do a super chat. It's great. I love it. YouTube gives me this platform to stream on, and that's pretty rad. But if you don't like that, I got an answer for you. I got a solution for you. Daniel Maurer with a $25 PayPal for the Mac, he says. We go from 5 to 30, just like that. Thank you, boys. Much appreciated. Got a little... Graham Parkinson became a patron. Welcome to the collective, Graham. Thanks for jumping on board. Patreon helps me out the most, guys. If you're not on my Patreon, and you've got a couple... If you've got 10 cents a day that you can spare, you're going to love it. Lots of good stuff over on Patreon. Lots of good articles and audio versions of the live streams, and a super secret Patreon only YouTube playlist with 80 some unreleased things, live streams, rough cuts, sketchy flying, shit like that. Some really cool stuff over there. John Lewis with a $20 PayPal. He says, "Get that Mac, man." Thank you very much, John. Very cool of you, my friend. And then there's John Goodwin with a $5. Let's get the 20 added in here to the gear fund. You guys are the goddamn best. Look at that. 50 already. We are on effing fire. Look, I didn't say fucking. Are you proud of me, guys? I didn't say fuck. I said effing. Fuck. I'm good. Robert Knox edited his pledge over on Patreon from $5 to $10. He wants to get some Tiny Whoop and... Nope. He was on the Tiny Whoop and Toothpick tier. Now he's on the 3-inch micro brushless and Cinewhoop tier. He wants to get in on them Cinewhoop giveaways. Every other Monday, I do 3 Patreon giveaways. The $5 a month patrons are entered into the Tiny Whoop and Toothpick giveaway. The $10 a month patrons are entered into the 3-inch micro brushless and Cinewhoop giveaways. The $20 a month patrons are entered in the 5-inch giveaways. And then the $30 and up patrons are entered into all 3 of those. So yeah, get over to the Patreon page and support your lanky boy, and I'll keep doing my thing. Mr. Huggy says, get the 16 gigabyte version and at least 1 terabyte. To be honest, I wish I got the 2 terabyte version. The good news is the M1 Mini Mac with 16 gigabytes is a monster in playing games. So basically, since the RAM is on the motherboard, more than likely I'll max the RAM out. I'll probably not max out the internal hard drive though, because I've got a 2 hard drive bay here and a 4 hard drive bay that are external. So that's where all my storage is going to come from. The internal hard drive. It's the same thing that I've always done on the tower. I use a smaller, faster internal hard drive, solid state typically, to just run the programs themselves, and then they pull all of the footage and all their data from the external drives. My scratch discs are all... the scratch disk is on the internal fast drive, but then yeah, it pulls everything from the externals. That's how I've always done it. It works really well for editing and just most things. So that's more than likely what I'll do, is just max the internal RAM. But yeah, going from like a 1 terabyte internal drive to 2 terabyte internal drive, it doesn't really do anything for me. Like, I'm never gonna have more than 1 terabyte of like applications and shit that I want, you know, shit that's gonna actually run on that internal drive. Having that extra terabyte, you know, like that's like 2 gigs. That's like 2 gigs that I go and shoot. So that doesn't really do me any good. So yeah, that'll probably be the deal. Ramdonko says, my mash bash build gets black horizontal lines at high throttle. Where am I being a fool? First thing you want to do, Ram, is get your grounds shared. Get the camera ground onto the same pad as the VTX ground. That solves like 99% of video noise issues. If that doesn't work, my next troubleshoot is I go to a capacitor, or a bigger capacitor. We're actually going to try that on this 250 build. We're going to put a second capacitor on it to see if that will help this JHE MCU AIO out. I can pretty much guarantee that it won't, but we're going to give it a quick try, because it's not a quick fix, because in order to get the top plate off, I have to pull the side plates off. I lied. We're not going to do that because it's a pain in the ass to pull the side plates off this build because I'm on these prototype side plates that Tommy made for me. What we're going to actually do, well, let's just dig right into it. Guess what time it is, motherfucker? Did I hit it at the right time so that I tried to like self-bleep myself. There's some stuff, boys and girls. We got some stuff going on here. And it's mad. That little mailbag thing I stole from the Mighty Car Mods guys. If you like cars and you're not subscribed to them, go subscribe now. They're the best car channel on YouTube. Hands down. First up, I've got some Insta360 Go 2 bunny ear mounts from CiottiFPV. CiottiFPV, thank you so much, brother. He designed and sent me these. We're going to check these out on Whoop Wednesday this week. These are going to allow me, hopefully, to run an Insta360 Go on the 75mm Whoop to have the smallest, lightest possible safe carrier of an Insta360 Go 2. I'm really trying to get that. I want to get that rig totally up to speed and locked in by Christmas because on Christmas Day, Maggie and I are going to take the kids to the Mall of Georgia, where they've got a fucking humongous, beautiful Christmas tree, and I'm gonna fly that shit. We're gonna do pictures, like, you know, Christmas card pictures with the kids in front of the tree, and then I'm gonna fly Mall of Georgia with that 75mm Tiny Whoop with the Insta360 Go 2 on it, and that could be something really, really special. So Wom, thank you so much for doing this. This is super rad. We might need to spend a little time getting these dialed in. But yeah, I'm going to get these onto the canopy and we'll see what's what. Really, really excited with this, for this. This is potentially going to be pretty rad. The 65mm Whoop is like good to go. That's the Insta360 Go 1 carrier. To be really honest though, like, if this works out with the Insta360 Go 2, I don't know what the point of having the one really is at that point. So yeah, that 65mm Whoop might get pulled apart. I don't know what's gonna happen, but it doesn't really make much sense to have it doesn't really make much sense to have the Insta360 Go 1 at all right now, right? Because the 2 is so much better. I don't know. I'll think about it. Dan Richmond has designed some rear-facing GoPro Hero 8 glide mounts. One of them here uses the rear two M3 holes, and then it uses the rear 20x20 holes to lock this thing in on the rear. And then he also designed one that bypasses those 20x20 holes, and it's got a little stair step here so that you can lock this into the rear M3 standoffs. So these two things are going to be super fun. Patrick and I are going to go out. I'm going to put this on the back of Patrick's glide, and then we're going to go out with the Gemfan Moonlight and Starlight props, and I'm going to chase him as close as I possibly can with those Moonlight props to get some really cool in-flight footage of those LED props. What I really want to do is try to find a set of railroad tracks. For lead follow stuff, railroad tracks are perfect because both people can just dial in on the railroad tracks, and like as long as you stay, it just gives you like a perfect target that you can both lock into so that one person's not wandering all over the place. And yeah, that should be pretty fun. I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, Dan Richmond, thank you so much for these. these are kind of like both, you know, those, the Insta360 Go 2 mounts and these are kind of like version 0.01 prototypes. I've got to put these on, see how they hold up and shit like that. So there might be some modifications to these. Once the modifications are done, then I think all these guys are going to be putting this stuff up on Thingiverse. So I'll hit you guys with links once we've tested all these out and make sure that they're and have made sure that they're working and fitting and all that good stuff. But yeah, this is going to be super fun too. I'm really excited about this as well. Thank you very much, Dan. Oh hey, look, he also printed this little guy. This is a little M3 hex driver, a little 3D printable M3 hex driver, which is pretty cool. I never thought about that. This is actually really useful. So yeah, thanks for this as well, Dan. Very cool. Very, very cool. Next up, a bag from Amazon. Hopefully there's not a dildo in there. Just kidding. Oh, cool. All right, good. All right, that's got nothing to do with FPV. Early Christmas shopping, boys and girls. Start your Christmas shopping now. Let me give you guys a life hack. Start your Christmas shopping now. Every time you do an order on Amazon, buy something for somebody else for Christmas. Every time you do an order on any website on the internet for the next month or two, order something for somebody else on that website. A week before Christmas, when you get the panic of, oh fuck, Christmas got here, you'll have a moment where you'll go, and then your brain will go, nope, you already bought everything. And then your brain will go, I am the smartest person in the world! And it'll be a great Christmas for you. Start buying Christmas presents now. You can thank me on December 24th. This box here is from Matt McConnell. Matt McConnell has been doing some amazing Rip Squeak 3D design and sending them to me for testing. Not just Rip Squeak, Insta360 Go 2 stuff. He's who printed this Insta360 Go 2 mount for the 250, which I have used, and it does work well. And then he's doing a bunch of Rip Squeak stuff, and he's also doing mounts for, shit, he just told me the frame that he's got. Tadpole, I think he's doing some mounts for the Tadpole as well. He's an amazing human being doing great work. And he has sent me a box of some really cool goodies. Matt, this is too much, but I absolutely love it. He sent me an extra set of the stand ducts, which is amazing because I don't have any extras right now, so if I break one of these stand ducts, I'm assed out. Plus, this means that I can put both Cinesplores onto the stand ducts to do more head-to-head testing, like to do like motor testing and shit like that. So this is amazing, dude. Thank you so much for sending these. I had no idea he was going to send these. I knew he was sending me some 3D print stuff to test out that we're kind of dialing in, but I didn't know that. He also sent me a fucking iFlight Beast AIO, yo! Amazing, bro. Thank you. Fuck yeah. So this is why I'm not gonna bother doing the extra capacitor thing on the JHE MCU AIO on the 250 because it's not gonna help. Me putting an extra, it already has one capacitor on it. The problems that it's having are not, I can just tell, just from experience, are not going to be solved by just adding a little bit more capacitance. The JHE MCU AIO that I put into this 250 build is an old one. It's like a year and a half old. Back then, there was too much electrical noise, and I actually talked to Kebab about this last week just to make sure that my memory was correct. Yeah, the big problem, one of the other big problems with AIOs is that when you build them, when you put specifically the older ones into builds with powerful motors like these 2004s, the electrical noise becomes too much. Bob basically said that there are no AIOs right now that perform well if you pair them with a motor that's bigger than 2203 or 2204. And basically what he said is that the problem seems to be just that because there's one shared ground plane for the ESC and the flight controller, like there's just a certain power level where the whole the whole system, the motors and because the bigger motors generate more electrical noise, having one shared ground plane just doesn't work. It's you just can't build it. You can't have a clean electrical system. But here's the thing, like they have gotten better. Like the iFlight Beast was one of the first AIOs that they made some improvements to bring that electrical noise just barely under control. But Bob said that if you try to put this on a motor bigger than 2203, the problems come back again, and there's too much electrical noise, and it just, yeah, you just can't handle it. So this is absolutely amazing because this will get the 250 back up in the air, which I really wanted to. I was really hesitant to do a giveaway with this in December because there's a lot of stuff in that build, and I built it really clean, and like I really like Flying Tommy's rigs, and this frame is really interesting. So yeah, this is super awesome that we can put this into the 250 and get that thing back up in the air, and then I can make some more content with that rig. It'll also help us out a little bit with testing, like this rig, the 250 rig versus the Rip Squeak. Will allow me to kind of show you guys the difference between like 250 grams all up weight versus like 280 grams all up weight. So yeah, really cool. That'll be super awesome. He also printed me in red, which is super cool, a set of these low profile Cinesplore ducts, which is super fun. So now between that and these, I can now set both Cinesplores up with either the low profile ducts or the HQ ducts, CiottiFPV /HQ ducts. So that's pretty cool. And then a bunch of these D76 propellers, which I'm going to do giveaways with because I have plenty of these. So some giveaway fodder, which is awesome. And then a couple of the new Rip Squeak mounts that we've been kind of playing around with. Most recently, this is that rear piece that I like to run on the Rip Squeaks, which has these two little loops in it so that you can hang an Insta360 off the bottom rear, which is how I did that, which is how I did one of the more recent edits up on my channel here. And yeah, this is really cool. I had him redesign the little pad here in the back so that you can use this to zip tie your VTX and receiver to it, which is going to be really cool. And then the other really neat thing that he did is he built in a little mini Mortal T holder in the rear there. See it right here? So this is going to hold the mini Mortal T in a really good location. I've been just like hodgepodging it on the bottom here, which is okay, but the problem is you never want to have an antenna so close to carbon like this. So this mount here will sit in the rear like that, and then the mini Mortal T will sit out here. It'll basically sit right here, which is a much better spot for it in terms of signal. It'll get, yeah, much more range with it set up like that. So this is rad, man. I'm really looking forward to trying these out. You guys are too kind, too kind. And then Tim Coker is a superstar as well. I forget why he said, but he accidentally ordered 2 of these for his M1 laptop, I believe it was. And he sent me one of them because when he found out I was doing the M1 Mac thing, he's like, what are you going to do for ports? You know, you're going to have to plug shit in. And I was like, oh, fuck. I kind of forgot about that. Dongle gate and all. So he sent me this StarTech dock, which is amazing because this is going to give me my Ethernet, a bunch of USBs over here, 2 Thunderbolts. Both Thunderbolts, I think, are going to get taken up by monitor. I don't know. I got to figure out what's getting plugged into what. But yeah, it looks like there's also... Is that That's not HDMI. Yeah, this is awesome. So... many things, boys and girls. Many amazing things are coming, which is really good. The cinematic gigs have kind of disappeared right now, I guess because it's so goddamn cold. So yeah, I've got to kick these live streams in the ass a little bit, and I've got to kick the Patreon in the ass a little bit, so that I can survive the cold winter. So yeah, there's going to be way more of an emphasis on these live streams and whatnot over the next few months here, and then yeah, so lots of cool content coming. We'll definitely be doing some Patreon only streams on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and yeah. Fun stuff coming. We'll do I'm gonna do 12 hours of Christmas like I did last year. It might be on Christmas Eve, earlier in the day, or it might be on Christmas Day later. The night of Christmas Eve, I'm definitely gonna be spending with Maggie. The morning of Christmas Eve, morning of Christmas, I'm gonna spend with Maggie and the kids. So yeah, I just got to figure out if I want to do the 12-hour stream. Yeah, before, so if I did it Christmas Eve, I would probably start the stream at I would need to start the stream early. I would need to start the stream at 8 a.m. And that way it finished at 8 p.m. and then I could head up to her place. More than likely, what I'll do is have it on Christmas Day, spend Christmas morning with her, leave there, I don't know, noon, 1, 2, and then get the stream started at 4 p.m. maybe, and then stream until 4 a.m. or 2 p.m. and then stream till 2 a.m. I don't know. We'll do something fun, but yeah, or maybe I'll shorten it up. Maybe I'll do 12. I know that 12 hours is my max. The 24-hour thing will never happen again. That was too much. 12 hours is my max, and it's fun because I get to play off of the whole 12 days of Christmas thing. Or maybe I can do that. When does the I guess the 12 days of Christmas starts 12 days before Christmas, so maybe I'll do it then. Maybe I'll do the 12-hour stream on the first day of the actual 12 days of Christmas or some shit like that. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. We'll figure something fun out. If you guys can think of anything clever, drop it in the chat. Kaiser says, hey, possibly with another $4.20 super chat. I don't know if that's the same one that I saw. If it's another one, thank you again, Kaiser. If it's not another one, thank you again anyway. Ramdako says oh, we got that. Urban Tim says PayPal. Thank you, Daniel. Freelojo says, sorry, a reverberating reverb. Ram. Oh, YouTube, stop doing the thing, man. Scrolling back up to find my place. Come on now. Come on. Where was I? Ramdonko says, flown the Dalles, same color, 1404, was very pleasant. Learned about standoffs after smoking cap on landings, AAO to carbon. So in the market again, flight controllers are sold out, and yeah, Ram. This is just it, man. This is just it. You got to make those mistakes so that they like stand out in your brain. It's the only way. This is the way, Ram. You're doing it, man. You're in it. Yella Captain says, late to the party. Hello, you. Too good looking. All the people in chat. What's up, Yella? Drone Pilot says, I purchased an M1 iPad and it edits my 4K and 5.4K video in real time or less when my Microsoft Surface Pro for 5 minutes takes 30 to 35 hours. Jesus Christ. There's an M1 iPad? Oh my god. That's outrageous. Gamma Gonad says, you're just grounding the regulator itself. Here we go. Now we're talking about the this work that we're going to do in a minute. Gamma Gonad says, you're just grounding the regulator itself. And then Zanaka says, yeah, as long as you're grounding something, you'll be fine. And then Pixel Pusher says, ground it because it's for video. I don't know what that means, Pixel Pusher. But it sounds like from Gamma and Xenakis that my plan with this external 5-volt regulator is good to go. Akash Jana with a $1 Canadian super chat. Thank you, Akash, for supporting the madness. Californian Canadian dollars in the house. Drone Pilot says, when I worked out a 14-inch MacBook Pro M1, when I worked it out, the 14-inch MacBook. Right. MacBook Pro M1 was the best bang for buck. And also I purchased a T7 Samsung 1 terabyte external 40 gig transfer. You can edit straight from the drive. That's pretty slick. Interesting. MacBook Pro M1. The 14-inch screens are a little... 14 might be okay. The 13-inch MacBooks, man, those screens are too damn small for me. I have a 15, that's just small enough. Maybe a 14 would work, but I don't know. I guess they're all the same thing. Yeah, initially I was thinking about going the MacBook route, but I already have a MacBook that's kind of okay. I don't know. I have these two monitors, which is why I kind of lean towards the M1. I don't know. I don't know what to do. God damn. I used to know computer things, and then I looked away for like 20 years, and now I don't know anything. Expander says, it got dark and cold around here, so I'm sitting in my car watching on my phone doing some night flying. Nice, Expander. Night flying is very fun. Family Guyver says, there are still malls around? Yeah, I know, right? Most were demolished for an Amazon warehouse to be located there now. Akash says, what do you think of the new DJI camera that came out? I'm an analog guy, Akash, so I don't know DJI anything, unfortunately. For me to switch over to DJI is a very, very, very expensive thing. So yeah, and I'm just in a place financially where it's not in the cards. At some point, hopefully it will be, because every time I fly DJI, I'm like, well, yeah, this is better. But yeah, what I'm really hoping for, and it looks like the V2 of the DJI Nano camera is actually pretty good. I forget what it's called. But what I would really like is a good quality Starlight Nano DJI camera. Because then I can keep my glides on 15mm standoffs, and I'm totally spoiled by these Foxeer toothless Starlight cameras. Being able to fly at night with an actual Starlight camera is amazing. It really opens some amazing doors that you really can't do with a regular sensitivity sensor. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Nano, so that again I can keep the glides on 15mm standoffs. Did a little bit of long range flying yesterday on the way back, which was kind of cool. I haven't really pushed range since I lost that rig in Charleston, so it was super nerve-wracking. But I got the rig a mile out, and I turned it around, and the only thing that happened is LQ went from 2 100, which is 150 hertz, to 1 100, which is 50 hertz. It stayed pinned at 1 100 a mile out as I turned all the way around. So I put myself into the null of the Immortal T, and then I put the Immortal T behind the carbon of the rig, and it was good to go. And I did a little run down the mountain with some beautiful orange and yellow tree action. So that was really cool. I had my co-pilot Maggie calling out LQ and just helping me navigate, which was amazing. So yeah, that was really, really fun. And yeah, that was a nice little confidence builder because yeah, I mean, when you lose a $600-700 build, it fucking rattles the shit out of you. And it just takes a little bit of time to kind of get that figured out. The only thing that I've changed since then is basically turning off the dynamic power. So as far as I can tell, both of the fail-safes, all three of the fail-safes that I had earlier this year were kind of caused by dynamic power being on. Technically I did change modules, but that didn't have any effect on this. So yeah, if you're running Crossfire, I really think that you should turn dynamic power off. I had some really weird experiences with it that caused some fail-safes that cost me a lot of money. So down with dynamic power on Crossfire. Because yeah, I've like 1-to-1 tested all the other components. I've 1-to-1 tested the receiver, the antennas, the modules, and yeah, nothing helped the issue other than turning off dynamic power. So, Ramdongo says, bloody electronics. My recent fixes have been pulling the easy plug and play and soldering. But Yoda's maze makes us appreciate. What's Yoda's maze? I'm exhausted, by the way. Yeah, my Friday was spent driving 10 plus hours from here in Atlanta up to Luray, Virginia, in my dad's Mustang Cobra to bring it back to him. My parents do a 4 or 5 or 6 month RV trip every year. As soon as it gets cold up in New Jersey, they pack all their shit into the RV and they head south, and they do this really fun little tour where they'll like do Virginia, they'll come down here to Georgia, they'll go down to Florida, and they just live in their RV while the weather is horrible in New Jersey because they're the smartest people in the wide world. And so for this is the beginning of their trip. So a couple of months ago, when I didn't have a car, my parents said, hey, you know, we have the motorhome and 2 cars, so you can borrow one of our cars, and to bring it back to us, instead of driving it all the fucking way back up to New Jersey, you can just bring it back to our first stop on our yearly trip. So that's exactly what I did. In Virginia was their first campground. So and they have a little trailer that they tow on their motorhome to put the car on, which is like that's the hot setup, right? Like, because RVs are huge and they're a bitch to run to the store in. So you get a little dolly and then you tow your regular car. So you take the big ass RV into the you know, the campgrounds, and you just leave it, and then you have a regular car to drive around and explore and, you know, hit mountain roads and all kinds of fun shit. So yeah, drove that 10 hours. So Maggie doesn't know how to drive manual, so I had to drive that entire way, which was fine. And then we rented a car Saturday morning that was automatic and drove that all the way back down here. 10 more hours of driving yesterday, which Maggie and I split up, which was, yeah, it's oddly enough, the drive on Friday was not bad, and there was a shitload of traffic, but yeah, like we were both kind of fine, but like halfway home yesterday, the two of us started, we were like, oh my God, like we both started to get sore and antsy and whatnot. Listened to some great music. As always, had some amazing conversations. Yeah, she's a person that just inspires the shit out of me, and I'm just blown away. I'm so fucking lucky. And yeah, it was another. It's like every minute that I spend with her is just this like fucking gift, and this was no different. And there was a whole bunch of minutes that I got to spend with her, and I'm just a really lucky guy. I'm a really, really lucky human being. So yeah, that's why I'm tired. And then she ended up crashing here last night because I assumed that I would be able to just, do overnight drop off with the rental car and just, put the keys in a lockbox and whatever. But they didn't have a lockbox, and they had a sign on the door that says no after hours pickups. So she crashed here, and as soon as they opened at 9 this morning, we drove up there to drop off the rental car. And yeah, and then I'd paid my ex-wife last week for the Mazda 2, and she came and dropped it off, and then I gave her a ride home, and then I drove the Mazda 2 back here. So yeah, I've got a car again. I've got a working car again. And it was really like, it was all of this. It's been a mess. Like, the car thing has been a complete mess since she left me. But I'm really happy that I did. It couldn't have gone down more perfect. Like, the Mazda 2 is a car that I put a ton of effort and time and love into. It's a known quantity. It's a car that, we got from mile one. I'm not, buying somebody else's problems. And it's a car that I love. Like, I was just looking at buying another one, which is nuts because, yeah. So this is great. It's a little rough at the moment. It looks silly without the front lip. The front lip did get damaged when it got ripped off. The rear valance got really damaged. It actually got ripped in half when it got ripped off. So yeah, it's gonna cost some money to have a body shop get those both back on the car, but luckily they're just appearance pieces, right? Like they'll probably just live on the patio for 6 months, whatever. It's not a priority. The car runs. It will get me where I'm going, and that's all that matters. Yeah, my priorities are pretty locked in at this point, and yeah, it feels really good to have a working car again. That's a big deal for me, and to not have to like keep bumming and borrowing cars off of people is really, really nice. It's I don't know, they're like the Miata is still mine, right? Like, I still own the Miata, but the shop that has it, I don't know. They've said that it'll be done by the end of November, but they've said that it'll be done by the end of insert name of any month here for the last year and a half that they've had the damn thing. They've got $1,000 of my money that I probably will not, like, I don't think I can really get back. There was no like paperwork or contract or anything. This was supposed to be like friends, like they were supposed to be friends that were helping me out. But then around election time, when they saw me trashing on Trump, that all changed. And it's been a total nightmare ever since then with them. So I'm a little bit assed out. I should never have sent them the initial $1,000. That was stupid on my part. But, the amount of money that they have of mine is a little too much for me to just kind of walk away from. But I mean, if we get into December and I don't have that car back, I'm probably gonna have to just walk away from that. The problem's gonna be I can't have that car towed back here and have it sit in the apartment parking lot all bashed to shit. So, yeah, I don't know. It's hard. It's got to go to another body shop, and that's gonna cost. That's gonna cost a couple grand because I piled it into the back of an SUV pretty good. And the front bumper is fucked. The rad support is fucked. The front fender's ruined. There's a lot of damage on it. It's going to be a lot of man hours for work. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there, but I'll find out. Expander said, no, we got that. Michael Blade saying hello. June Loco says, never seen you that happy on an AIO. Hello. I know, right? Ramdango says, which beast? I think there's 3 to choose from. This is the version 1.2. Beast F7 45 amp AIO version 1.2. I think this is the one that has the USB port offset. Yeah, so there's a version of the Beast with the USB port centered on the board. I don't know what version that is, but that's not this version. This is the version that has it offset, which is fine. What I'll do is like what Tommy says to do, which is to rotate the board 90 degrees, and that way I'll be able to plug the USB in without removing a standoff, which will be awesome. So yeah, we'll get that 250 up in the air. It's going to be a little bit. The 250 is kind of backburnered for a minute, but I'm doing a lot of building right now, so it won't be too long. I'm really trying to focus on building at the moment because there's a lot to do. I want to get caught up on that, and I need to have some giveaways for December. I'm doing full build giveaways for patrons in December, so it's a really, really, really good time to join the Patreon right now. If possible, don't just join the Patreon for December and then bail. That happened to me in April when I gave a bunch of full builds away, and I really kind of lost my ass on that a little bit. So yeah, but you do whatever you want. You know, I got no control over you. Gary Higgins says, I want to see that swap on the 250 iFlight Beast AIO. Maybe like next weekend or that following week would be my guess, because this Cinesplorer needs to get back up in the air. This is my main like working rig. If I get booked for a gig tomorrow, I need this thing. So yeah, this needs to get back up in the air. I don't know how much work will get done on it today. It's almost 4:20 already. But tomorrow I'm going to hammer this. Tomorrow I'm going to do a bunch of work on this, and maybe even get it done. And then I think I'm going to dive into the rip squeaks. I want to get those up in the air. I really want... there's just a couple little things that need to get done, and we can have a couple of rip squeaks built. And then at that point, I think we'll dive into the 250, pull this AIO, swap it over. And then, yeah, we'll be cruising, man. Cruising through some builds here. Family Guyvers ran to Panda Express. Lucky bastard. YouTube just did the thing. Scrolling back up. It's my life. It's my life. I scroll back up. What do you do for a living? I scroll back up. Darkman says, have you tried the T-Motor 2004s, and would that size be nice for 3.5 inch? I have not tried those. The KV is a little bit too low. I think I have one coming though, because I want to see if it's Nachi / Kagi or not. It is a good size and KV for 3.5 inch. Yeah, the T-Motor 2004s in the 3000 KV on 4S would absolutely work on 3.5 inch. I prefer a little bit more than 3000 KV. I want like 3100, 3200. I really like these aero lights because they're 3500. The problem with these aero lights, according to other people, is they're a little fragile. I have not crashed them yet to be able to weigh in on that, but I've heard from a couple people that I trust that they were kind of disappointed with how fragile that they are. So we'll see. Maybe the T-Motor 2004s are just as fragile, you know, like durability. Excuse me, durability is really tough. But yeah, the T-Motor 2004s would absolutely work on 3.5 inch for sure. Robert Garcelon says, "Do it after everyone can share what presents we got." Do what after, Robert? You said that like 22 minutes ago, and I don't remember what I was talking about. Cash says, "Just finished building new 5-inch race quad, Velox 2207, 5147. All up weight is 400. Quad's hard to put down and land. Any suggestions?" Landing is like 99% stick time. There's really not. It's hard. It's hard to land because of the up tilt. One of the things that can make it easier that you probably already knew, but just in case you don't, is when you come into land, like come in like this, and then spin yourself around, and then lower the throttle to then, so that like one of the problems, right, is when you go to land, your camera's pointing up in the air, so you can't see the ground. So if you come in low with the nose down, you can see the ground, and then when you swing it around, you can still see the ground because the nose is down, right? And it's gonna naturally shed speed, and then you just bloop and just drop it down like that. So that's one of the easier ways to land, is to throw a little 180 in and then just let it settle down. Like keep the throttle nice and low, and it'll just bloop, and it'll just kind of drop down. Other than that, it's just stick time. You just have to land 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 times before you're used to the timing, and you know. If you can land next to a vertical surface, that helps too. Anything to give you, you know, like any kind of like a visual reference point is going to help you out. Rob Axelson says, hey, and let me know if those camera mounts need changes made. I certainly will, Rob. I think we're good to go, though. I think that last round of changes should be good. They haven't shown up yet, but my mail here in Georgia is very, very slow. JRFPV says, "What's up?" Ruby Tim says, he probably meant, "What do you think about the new Dji Action 2? Oh, that's the only new DJI cam that I know of. Yeah, good call, Dan. DJI Action 2 is kind of intriguing. There are some things that I really don't like about it. There are some things that I really do like about it. One of the things that I noticed really early on that I really don't like about it is it's got too wide of a field of view, and it just so, and that problem is twofold. Well, not really. The main problem with the field of view being too wide is that you then have to, like, you're not going to want to use the full wide, so then you go to like one less, but then you're not using the whole sensor, and that's not great because like it's already not, I don't know. I need to see a DJI Action 2 versus Session 5 comparison. That's what I need to see. I think I already know what the deal is going to be. I think the DJI Action is going to be a little bit better quality than the Session 5, but I really want to see that comparison. One of the other big problems I have with it is the price. But because of the fact that we can get them from Best Buy, the price kind of doesn't matter, because you can get the Geek Squad physical damage protection. But yeah, I don't know. I really wish it wasn't so wide of a field of view. But it seems pretty good, man. The weight is amazing. A 4-inch rig will pretty easily lift it, which opens up some really interesting possibilities for lighter weight hardcore freestyle builds. You know, you can use that camera to do like a 400 gram freestyle build that fucking rips, that is going to be noticeably quieter than a 5-inch freestyle rig, and that's really exciting. My question though also is like, you know, I think there are some reviews comparing it to the Insta360 Go 2. But I'll be really interested to see that, because like if it's only a little bit better than the Insta360 Go 2, fuck it. I mean, that's 26 grams versus like 56 grams. That's a no-brainer. Because with the Insta360 Go 2, I'm hoping to prove with this little ripsqueak here that you can build a very competent freestyle rig that's even quieter, to the point where what I really hope is that this guy is quiet. It's definitely small enough. Like, this is a fucking toy, right? Like, cops are not gonna get mad about you flying. People aren't gonna get mad about you flying this, right? Like, if somebody hears you flying and they're like, oh, what are you doing? And you come in and land this thing and be like, oh, I'm just flying my little toy around, more than likely they're gonna go, oh, you fucking nerd, whatever, I'm out of here. That is not the case with a 5-inch freestyle rig. That conversation is very different. So I'm really hoping that the Insta360 Go 2 is going to be good enough. I'm also hoping that it's durable enough. That's the other unanswered question about the Dji Action. Joshua blew his up on the very first day of flying it. I did the same with my Insta360 Go 2. So I mean, like, if the Dji Action 2 is not like noticeably more durable than the Insta360 Go 2, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. But it's interesting. I wish it wasn't quite so expensive. But the weight is really good. It certainly beats spending, although what's interesting is that Session 5s the prices on eBay have come down for sure. But what I was about to say is it certainly beats spending $200 on a Session 5 with no physical damage protection. Although, if the damn thing is going to blow up on day one of people flying it, then you're going to spend an awful lot of money on Best Buy protection plans. The Session 5, like, you can hit that thing with a goddamn nuclear missile and it just doesn't give a fuck. So even at $200, the Session 5 still might be the go-to. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Some hardcore freestyle pilots that do crash hard are flying the Dji Action 2 right now. So we will have some crash feedback sooner than later. I think that's going to be the big thing for me, is if it's somewhat durable. And I don't think it will be. The Session 5 is a very unique, very durable... It's kind of like the only durable... I mean, like, HD cams are fragile. Like, cameras are fragile, right? Like, period. The Session 5 is in this, and the Session 4 are just from fucking outer space. Like, the amount of durability that you get from those cameras is unlike anything I've ever seen. And that's a really big deal, because this whole, like, constantly those in the course of, like, a month, and, like, that, no. Like, that's not, no. I'm not doing that. I can't do that shit. So, I don't know. We'll see. If you don't crash super hard, though, that camera is fucking intriguing, man. 56 grams for the quality that thing produces. Yes, it's a pain in the ass, and you can only use it for 20 minutes before you have to recharge it and dump the footage, and, like, there's all these stupid things, but, like, the software, I'm sure they'll update the software to make some of those things better, and, like, you'll get used to that stuff, you know? Like, I'm sure there's a way around it. I'm really happy that there's a lightweight camera option. Really happy. Rob Axis says, Cadex Ratel Starlight is what I use at night. Very cool. The Starlight cameras are awesome. Frank Nicholas says, for DJI Cadex Polar Night Vision Nano camera, has been out for a while. I didn't know there was a nano polar. I thought it was just the regular polar. Caddx polar nano. Caddx polar nano. Look at that. Is it any good? Or is it horrible? 14 millimeter. Caddx polar nano. It looks like Chris Rosser seemed to like it. Let's see real quick. Let me just take a quick look. I mean, no matter what, it's going to be... Why is it so juddery? What the hell's going on there? Oh, it's just the rig. Looks alright. I'm not going to show the video because I don't want copyright nonsense. Why is this rig of Chris Rosser's flying so poorly? Seems to look okay. Looks like fucking GoPro footage. I mean, not really, but compared to analog, it looks like goddamn GoPro footage. Interesting. All right, so yeah, I guess it's just a money thing for the switch to DJI. Although there is also the monitor problem, which is a real issue for me. So yeah, I should probably wait until there's a better monitor solution, realistically. Because yeah, the gigs that I've flown, DJI would not have worked in a bunch of different scenarios. And it would have really been a fucking problem. So I kind of need to wait for that, I think, too. But that's fine, because I absolutely don't have anywhere near the money to dump into a switch to digital. And I probably won't for a while. It's very low. The switch to DJI is very, very, very low priority. It's... And yeah, I'm a person that is very... I have to be very, very priority driven. And yeah, so... CiottiFPV's in the house. What's up, Dan? He says, saw flow state, awesome doc, you... And that's all I got. Awesome doc, you. It was good. Man, we demolished Golden Gate's website, huh? That was interesting. That was interesting. I think they're still having issues. Pretty gnarly. Drone Pilot says, I can fly at night with the regular polar camera DJI FPV, and I flew 5 kilometers to the city and around the edge of the skyline and then back. Regular polar camera. Is the regular polar camera nano, Drone Pilot? Nano size? Frank Nicholas says, correlation does not indicate causation. I don't know what we were talking about. I don't know what that's in reference to. Unfortunately, that was like 20-something minutes ago. Tag me again and let me know what that is in reference to, Frank. Drone Pilot also says, I use dynamic power on my 2-watt Crossfire, and all my quads have returned to home, and I fly 5 kilometers out on average with my setup and never ever had an issue. That's awesome. I love that, but I absolutely had an issue with it, so I'll never run dynamic power ever again, and I really don't recommend that anybody else does, because it's just not worth losing an entire rig. Remy Tim says, I spent a lot of time talking with people who run Crossfire in long-range groups, and your experience is the exception regarding dynamic power correlations. Okay, so that's what Frank was also talking about. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably wrong. I'm always wrong. But yeah, I mean, that was my experience. I really don't have a reason to run dynamic power. Like, it doesn't really... yeah, I just don't have a reason to run it, so I'm not going to run it. And, from that standpoint, the benefits of running dynamic power don't really outweigh the potential of it going wrong, right? Like, for the same reason that I will always solder something, if there's an option to solder something versus using a connector, I will solder it. I will always simplify things and use I will always simplify things and not running dynamic power is much simpler and safer. Like, period. Like, it's safer because it keeps the power jacked up all the time. So I will always go with the safer, simpler route than, yeah, using some bell or whistle that doesn't really like, if the bell or whistle has a real benefit, right, then, like, sure, but dynamic power doesn't really have much of a benefit. Like, it makes the battery last a little bit longer. Ooh, wow. You know, like, fuck that. And hey, speaking of batteries, oh my god, I am very late to the game on this, but that's pretty much the story of my life. The 4000 mAh Owline 2S QX7 battery. So what I did is I carved a little notch in the battery bay door so that the XT30 from this battery can stick out the back. And then, hold on. So you just have to, like, take a second to get it in the right position. But then the little XT30 hangs out the back, and then the XT30 is easy to you know, hook up to my charger. So the battery's balance lead powers the transmitter, but then the XT30 plugs directly into the Crossfire. So when I did the up the mountain thing, I was on 1 watt. So yeah, this is a great little setup. I am such a dumbass for not doing this. You know what it is? I didn't think. Well, I didn't have the big module. The smaller module powers itself internally, and that's that. So I didn't really, yeah, have a double reason to go to a setup like this. But now that I've gone to this setup, I really dig it. So yeah, that was pretty cool. That was that's a nice little thing. Rob Oxen says the drive back from anywhere sucks. It's true. June Loco says right on. JRFPV with a $5 super chat. He says for part of the bumper. Thank you, JR. Much appreciated, man. Yeah, it's to get the front bumper. So when the front lip ripped off, it ripped all of the mounting points off of the front bumper. And when the rear valance came off, it ripped in half. So, like, realistically, I mean, that's probably like $400, $500, $600 worth of body shop work to get those two back on the car looking half decent. Which, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to spend that kind of money. So the car will not look great for a while, but eventually maybe I'll put those back on. I don't know. We'll see. But it's, yeah, it's not... I don't care. I don't care if I look like a broke-ass motherfucker driving around. It's whatever. It's whatever, man. I got the best job in the fucking world. You know, whatever. I will sacrifice damn near anything to be able to do this for a living, to be quite honest. So, it is what it is. Gary Higgins says, that's fine. I just want to watch anytime is cool. Not sure what we were talking about, Gary. I apologize. Darkman says, I'd be looking at the 1700 kV ones for 6S. I would definitely not do that, Darkman. 6S is a bad idea for micros. There's no benefits. There's only negatives. Mainly that 6S is very hard on the AIOs and the small 20x20 ESCs. And there's no benefit. There's the motors smaller than 2306 don't pull hard enough on the battery for there to be any benefit from the additional voltage of 6S versus 4S. So there's no advantage in flight characteristics or flight performance, and it's a lot harder on the ESC. The only actual advantage is that it gives you access to more motor options, but there are motor options that work totally fine on 4S with micros. So that's not really a benefit, in my opinion. But yeah, if you're not already like set up, if possible, don't go 6S on micros. It's not great. Frank Nicholas says the Dji Action 2 camera accepts other lenses. Session 5 is pretty much gone and probably shouldn't be used. Shouldn't be used a comparison base for the DJI camera. I disagree. But yeah, everybody's obviously welcome to have their own opinion. Drone Pilot says, I can tell you that the DJI Osmo Action is far better than my GoPro Session 5, but they're not the same form factor. Yeah, true. I've not been all that impressed with the footage from the DJI Action 2, but it's always getting, everything that I've seen so far has been comparing it to an iPhone and GoPro Hero 8 or 10. And that's not a really fair comparison, in my opinion, which is why I think it needs to get compared to a Session 5, and I just need to watch one of the comparisons to the Insta360 Go 2. So I'll probably do that tonight. June Loco says, has anyone decased the DJI camera yet? That's funny. Yeah, I guess that'll start happening now. Interesting. CH3FPV says, you lose the shot by the time you dump the footage. What's that in reference to? You lose the shot by the time you dump the footage. Hey, I had a, unrelated, but I had a micro SD card fail. When Maggie and I had found this little spot to fly from, and I found a perfect spot for me to stand, I sent the rig up, and the first time down was really really good. I was really locked in on the treetops, and I had this one treetop that whizzed right by, and I was like, but then I got it back and it said SD card error, and I had to format the card, and then I didn't have another card with me. My one other card was here in this thing, and then the other card is in that GoPro Session 5, and so I had to send it back up. After I reformatted the card, it was recording again, so I sent it back up, and when it came back down, it was still recording, which was great, but then when I put the card into the computer to pull the footage off, it was saying it was corrupted. I'm like, fuck, so I just kept trying, and eventually on one of the tries, it linked up, and I was able to pull the footage off real quick, so that's good. But yeah, I had another micro SD card fail. So here are the two. Everything I've ever read says that SanDisks fail a lot less often. Actually, I've had more than this fail. These are the only two that I've kept. But these are the two that have failed. SanDisk Extreme and SanDisk Endurance. These fucking things fail, though. I don't know. It's pretty common for these micro SD cards to fail. They're just too goddamn small. They're just trying to... I wish they hadn't gone this small. I wish they'd left them the one size bigger, but whatever. But yeah, that kind of sucked. But I'd rather have it fail when I'm out flying for fun than when I'm being paid. So, paid in exposure. That's how I get paid. Remember that. It's important. FPV Tracker says, where do I get the best Hero 8 mount with front lens protection that has an ND slot? It depends on your frame, but between BMC 3D is my favorite for sure. BMC 3D or Brain 3D. Between those two, one of them will have you covered. If possible, I would go with BMC 3D though. Their designs are a little bit better in my opinion than Brain 3D. Kevin Sumner says, what do you think about HD0 for your switch to digital? Monitor problem is easy, even though the image quality is a bit worse than DJI. Unfortunately for me, the monitor problem is not easy because I'm not willing to buy a second. So I need a remote monitoring solution. I need to be able to stand 1,000 feet away from the director or producer or director of photography or AP or AD rather, and in order to do that on DJI, you have to buy an entire second set of goggles, which is just asinine. So unfortunately for me, the monitor problem is not easy. And that need is from working on jobs. Like that's something that I didn't expect, but more like probably 80% of the jobs that I've done this year, I needed to have that external monitor that was away from me. And so, yeah, that's one of the big things that's holding me back. The other question Kevin asked, what do you think about HD0? I haven't looked it up. I've not really done anything. I am going to be building a Rip Squeak for fun that's going to be on SharkBite. So at that point, maybe I'll start looking at the HD0 nonsense. But yeah, that's really kind of it. I'm very sensitive with my time. I try to really put my time into things that are going to have as much impact as possible. And for me, a digital switch is a ways off. So I just don't watch any content or spend any of my time learning about digital stuff. So, yeah, unfortunately. But soon I'll have some info on SharkBite, because FPV Exchange was cool enough to send me a SharkBite a receiver and VTX a long time ago. I'm really excited to finally get to use that and do a review. Expander says dynamic power can fry your RX if you get it too close for too long. Dynamic power helps with that. I think Expander might have gotten spell checked by his phone, but dynamic power will help you not fry your RX. That's not an issue. I just don't hold the transmitter and the quad right next to each other for a long period of time, so it's fine. Darkman says I've already got 6S batteries that I use on the 3-inch already. Got it, Darkman. So yeah, for you although to be honest, I would actually, if I were you, I would actually buy the 3000 kV motors and just motor limit them down, and just stop buying 6S batteries, 6S micro batteries. Start buying 4S 850 mAh micro batteries and change your micros from 6S to 4S, because you're going to get the same flight performance and you're going to get much better durability out of 4S over 6S. So, and then, you know, as you do that, you can eventually, when all of your 6S batteries are shot, you can just bring that motor limit back up to 100% and you're good to go. So that would be my recommendation. Jay Drones is in the house. He says, what's that FPV camera you used for the fireworks edit? You said it was great in low light. That's the Foxeer Toothless Nano Nano Starlight. Jesus. Rob Timko with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much, Rob. He says, what are the latest Cool Kid motors for 3-inch Rip Squeaks? Brother Hobby's getting harder to come by and ain't the most durable. Thanks, brother. Rob, I am knee-deep in Rip Squeak motor testing. I don't have like a solid answer for you, but because I don't have a favorite yet, but there's a bunch that are really, really good. So if you want the most power possible, the Toka 1505s, Mamba Toka 1505s is the way to go. It's a 12x12 mount base. If you want to, so with a 12x12 mount base, there are no prop guards that are going to work. If you want the same amount of power, but you want the option of running these amazing GEP-RC prop guards, then what you can do is go to MyRCMart, MYRCMART, and you can get these RCX 1306 4000 kV motors. These are a 9x9 mount base. 1306 is the same stator volume as, I'm sorry, these make a little bit less power. 1505, this is the most power. A little bit less power is these 1306s. These 1306s are the same stator volume as the Brother Hobby 1504 and a halves. but these are a 9x9 mount base, so you can run those, which is pretty awesome. Or a little bit less power, but still really good power, are the iFlight Zing 1504 3900 kVs, which are also 9x9 mount base, so you can run these GEP-RC prop cards on them. And then I have this one that I'm just kind of fucking around with on these X-Nova 1804s. I think these are a little bit much, but this is just kind of like an experimental thing. But yeah, those three motor options, in my opinion, are going to be your best bet. If you don't want to do these Tokas, if you want a little bit less power than these Toka 1505s, there is an Emax 1306 that's 12x12 mount base that you could do that seem to be pretty good too. So there's actually 4 different motor options for you. All of them are going to be more durable than the Brother Hobby VY 1504.5s. They're also all going to be a little bit heavier, but they're going to be considerably more durable. Those Brother Hobby motors are, I don't know what Brother Hobby is doing, but they're not making durable motors at the moment. Mr. Huggy says, here's DJI Action 2 and Caddx Peanut Insta360 Go 2. Thank you, Mr. Huggy. Oh shit, I hit the wrong button. And the chat's gone. Great. Fuck. Hold on. I'm gonna look up. I'm gonna watch a bunch of different videos. I think I've actually seen the thumbnail for that video, Mr. Huggy. This refuses to copy. Hold on, let me try one more time. Ah, there it goes. Let me see. Which one's this? Ah, it's not working. But I'm gonna look a bunch. Look at a bunch. I'll find it. Oh, I just closed the wrong fucking tab. Ah, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I'm good. I'm good. Ruby Tim says, I beg you to stop recommending people to turn off dynamic power. You're encouraging new pilots who don't know any better, and they will burn gear. Fair enough. Everybody run dynamic power. That's a totally fine point. I had a bad experience with it, but I'm probably wrong about that. So yeah, especially if you're a new pilot, definitely run dynamic power. I would. I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there. Everybody's been saying that I was wrong, so you guys are probably right, and that's fine. I will never turn it on again. But yeah, that's me being wrong. So, Scott Gillen says, "What's up, brother? Sorry I'm late, but had to get here to watch. Appreciate you coming on through, Scott." Kevin Sumner says, "I meant the monitor situation for HD0 Sharkbite is easy/cheaper." Just HDMI. I agree with you that monitor for DJI is expensive and a mild pain in the ass. Yeah, so the monitor with Sharkbite, if at some point Sharkbite can put out a proper VTX with proper power, to do the monitor solution with Sharkbite is a shitload less money, because you just have to buy another Sharkbite front panel piece thing, which is $150, I think, right? Sharkbite receiver is, ooh, it's $250. Yikes. But, you know, that's less than half as much as DJI. So it's still, but the problem is, yeah, we need a 500 plus watt Sharkbite VTX that's, in my opinion, small and light. And then we'll see. And then we'll get to see, I don't know though, the way that Sharkbite breaks up is really, it really seems difficult to fly through. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about, even with maybe 1 watt, it'll become fine. Kevin Sumner says 1 watt 30x30 VTX is in production as of the last week or so. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It's there are just like glaring problems with all of the digital setups for my particular uses, and I'm not gonna have half on one, half on the other. It's just not. That's not a good idea. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Good call, Kevin. Hey, look at that. We're caught up 6 minutes before the end of the stream. I guess we're not... I have to do something on... No, I'm just going to change the name of the stream. To Sunday Q&A. I'm going to do... Call it Sunday Mega Q&A. Mega Q&A. Lots of life updates. No, we did mailbag too. What else can we put in here? So we did mailbag. Lots of life updates. Yeah, it's fine. That works. Yeah, I'm not gonna dive into the Cinespore today. I'm just burned out from the last couple of days, and I don't want to. I don't want to make any mistakes on this build, so that's fine. Sunday 1 watt for the win. Yeah, right. So yeah, I'm actually gonna I'm gonna end it here because I'm just shot. I need a little bit of time to get my brain to work again. Metal Dirt Skin with a $5 super chat. He says, just saying, hey, being lazy, but now I gotta get and fly on a rare rain-free Pacific Northwest day. LOL. Thank you for the support, Metal Dirt Skin. Scott Gillen with the last comment of the live stream. He says, how is your T-Motor flight controller going for you, and have you tried the T-Motor stack, the F55? I've not tried the stack. The T-Motor flight controller is in a rig that has not been abused yet, so I can't really say how it is. It did impress me because it had that failed microphone connected to it and it didn't blow up, so that was pretty impressive. But I haven't physically smashed the shit out of it yet. BlitzFPV is actually getting the last comment here. He says, if you were to make your own motor, what company would you use? I would use X-Nova personally. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I don't know. I have not gotten the feeling that one motor company is doing much of a much better job than another. RC and Power, although there are some that are doing a shit job, like Brother Hobby, but RC and Power seems to be kicking ass. Mamba seems to kind of be kicking ass with these Tokas. X-Nova seems to be kicking ass. So I think it would be one of those three. It would probably be X-Nova because they make their motors in red. And these 1804s have just been ridiculous. So I think it would be X-Nova. Thanks for hanging out, boys and girls. Tomorrow night we'll get some actual work done, and I'll be a lot more energetic. And yeah. Thank you guys from the bottom of my fucking heart for filling up the meter that's been here for months and months and months. It's yeah. I'm really glad to have my own, to have a functioning car again, and yeah, you guys helped me out a ton with that, and that's pretty rad. So thanks a million. You guys are super awesome. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I will see you guys tomorrow night at 10 o'clock Eastern, and we will actually get some work done on this Cinesplorer, I promise, because I need to get it done. Here comes some more flying from my birthday this year. Enjoy. I'm going to give you some Session 5 audio initially while I open up Epidemic Sounds. Be good. Every single one of you are my best friends. Have a wonderful Sunday. You are my best friend. Later. Oh yeah, that's better.